So, here we are. Finally, your first breath, and I have taken my last. But who cares, right? There's so much to be done. I'm dead, but you have so much to learn. I once woke up just as you have. A blank mind, a clean canvas. Confused, yes, but I will teach you, just as I was taught. And so, first lesson, you are a keeper. I was a keeper. We were all keepers. Second lesson. I will lie to you. I learned much later that this is the way to keep the realms. And third lesson, this machine is your adjunct, your tool to learn and to keep the realms. Take it and we will begin. The firmament. It is remarkable that we are here.
Hey folks, Gamer Draig here. Welcome to the Firmament. This is a walkthrough of the game. It is not a blind playthrough, so it is going to be as quick as we can, but I will be stopping to allow the audio to play like we've just heard. So let's start off by grabbing our adjunct, which is the tool we're going to use to operate and manipulate things within this universe, and get cracking. Now, there are a number of books around. I'm not going to stop and read each book, but I will flick through them like this, so that if you do want to read them, you can pause the screen and do so. Let's get out of here. So to use the adjunct, as it says, we hold down a button and choose the options. Fairly straightforward. Okay, I don't think there's any books in this area for us to read. Let's crack on. Okay, so we're going to walk out of here, take a right, and I'll go slowly because there's a bit of talkie that happens.
It's beautiful, no? The majesty and peace of the ice and stone. I didn't emerge from the threshold here as you did. I woke at this one. My first journey to this realm. Oh, I remember it like it was yesterday. You have small stinging all over. It's normal. And your hearing, maybe only the alarms or your own heartbeat. As these effects will cease in time, as your body becomes accustomed to the heat. We will have these problems when we emerge from the threshold. You will live. And that is a good thing. The adjunct is making sense to you? If not, no worries. It will soon be as natural as your hand. Keep trying. And this one-sided prose is strange, is it not? I feel like a performer, but this is where we are. I had a most wonderful mentor. She taught me of these realms. I will teach you. But then, Turner arrived also. And, well, he first taught me beyond these realms. I will teach you that as well. So, this realm is the source of our water, and you will learn what must be done by doing all that we did. And I will help, but I will not hold your hand. Is it better to learn by contemplating, failing, hopefully understanding? We thought we understood.
So we arrive here at our first little puzzle where we need to get across this ravine. Or we have a crane, and basically what we're going to do is use those ice blocks that we saw earlier, we can see down there, to fill that gap that's in the centre. Let's grab our crane and drive it backwards. Right to the end. And then we're going to lower it right to the bottom, and it will automatically grab one of the ice bricks for us. It will automatically raise the crane as well. Okay, then it's just a bit of playing around to get the ice block into the gap in such a way that we can walk across it. And you just need to eyeball this. That looks not too bad. Let's go and try it. If it's wrong, you just need to come back and readjust it. Okay, so back down the path we just came. Take a right, follow the path, and that looks perfect. Over we go. So from this side we can raise this bridge, but there's no point because we're going to move the crane in a second, and as soon as the crane goes anywhere near that, it will automatically lower.
Isn't it breathtaking? The arches of the firmaments. So inspiring and reassuring. And this path will convey you to this one, where I once lived with my comrades. Go when you like, you can return here.
We'll go to the swan later on, which we do with these pods, and we'll find these around the realms. By connecting to them in the first place, it gives you access to use them later on. I don't think we actually need to do that for the first one, but there's no harm. Coming here, we should be able to raise this bridge. And by crossing as far as we can connect to the other side and raise that also. We now need to head up there, but there's a doorway and we can't open the door from inside. So we're going to come up to the top and use the crane, because the crane passes close enough to here for us to use it as a method of transport. So we'll start by raising the ice blocks all the way. So it doesn't get jammed on anything, and bring it towards us. Okay, we're going to jump on, but if we move forward as it is, the ice block and the crane is going to get snagged on that rock we can just sort of see there in the centre. So what we're going to have to do is lower it, but we can't lower it currently because there's nowhere to lower it to. Now there is a control port here, but it only moves backwards and forwards. So we need to connect back up to the bridge, move forward so we're past that point there on the graphic, so we can now lower. And now we've lowered it, it should be low enough to get past this little rock outcrop and get us going forward. Now, as you can see, conveniently we have a path off, so let's take that. And we can come to the other side of the door and now open that door, which makes that accessible to us in the future. Let's go and see what we're going to be doing going forward. Well, we can't get across here.
I am sorry for the state of disrepair. I performed all the duties of all the keepers for so many years. Alone. Except for my loyal adjunct. Your adjunct requires the augmentation in each arch. Find your way to all of them.
Okay, so we can't get across here because that doesn't reach at the moment. But there is a way of using the ice to get onto this platform. Let's just go and have a look what needs to be done. At the end of here, we need to get onto that. And we're going to do it by putting the ice block here in the middle so we can walk across it. Now the reason I'm showing you that is because we need to visualize that going backwards here, because there's no way to control the crane other than from where we were just at. So let's come back over here. And control the crane from here. So we'll send it forward. And we'll watch the graphics now, bottom right. And actually we're lined up pretty good. So as long as the top of the cube is lined up with the top of those vertical lines, it should be good to go. And we're just going to drive it as far as we can forward. And doing that should allow us to cross that little gap. Which it does. Okay. Up this ladder. Now at this point we can move on, but I'm just going to set it up for the next phase. And what the next phase is we're going to have to drop this ice block down this hole. So let's just open the chute and get the ice block into position. Okay, so it's ready to go, and you might have seen there on the graphic on the right, the lower chute is still closed, so we can't drop it yet, but we'll come back to that after. Okay, we can now come over here, open this bridge, or raise this bridge so that we can access here easier in the future, and then we're going to take this Omni wheel to our next destination.
I wish I could speak to you. Do you know who you are? What your story is? Your story is you.
Call the lift, And thankfully, in this game, the lifts are all pretty quick. So here we are at the reservoir, which is frozen, as you can see. But we have two phases of this. First of all, we need to get these spires raised and working. And then later on, we're going to need to get through them.
How is it I could stare at this spire for my whole life and never wonder what was below? Because a box of the story we were told comforted and constrained us. The spire is important. You will return here to completely awaken the embrace.
So you can see the Omni-Orb track there, the Omni-Wheel track comes around, but is blocked by that ice. So we can't take it any further. And we need to take it to the bottom of the spire there. To the bottom of the arch. But there is another one there, and that's our next objective, is to get to that. So, there's only one door available to us. We shall find it, open it, and take it. Okay, now this realm makes water, but our goal in this realm is to make ice. Sorry, is to make steam. And to make steam, we need water and we need coal. And those are the two tasks that we're going to be dealing with basically in this realm and where the puzzles are. So we're going to start with the water, or the ice in this case, which obviously becomes water. And there is a block of ice, as you can see. And that block of ice is very near that crane that's right above us. So we need to get up there somehow. But there is no way up. However, that door there is the bottom of the chute of where we've just left our ice block. So if we come to here, open that door, we can then go back to our ice block and ride it down to end up here. Let's do that. As we connect to this pod for the first time, you'll see bottom right that it's added. And that's what I mean by adding pods to the available ones that we can use. And because we've added that one at the start, we can use this pod to go either to the swan or back to where we've just come from. And that's what we're going to do.
You will not be able to witness the wonder of the other rooms, but you will transit to the swan first.
Now, if you can't get back here, or you can't open any of these bridges, then you'll have to take the Omni wheel back. It's just a slower way, but it is possible. So yeah, if you've forgotten to open this door, or you've forgotten to raise this bridge that we're coming to, then your only option is to take the wheel back. However, we're all good, so we can jump on our ice block, take our crane controls and lower it in 3, 2, 1. Hopefully these rollers mean it's a slow descent. there's that ice block we were looking at before, right ahead of us. So that's gone into the processing, and we can now access this cage. Now, one of the achievements in the game is to dump 5 ice blocks down that chute, so you just need to go backwards and forwards and do what we've just done 5 times. However, I'm not chasing that achievement, but all I want to see is our ice in those buckets, and we've now got our ice stroke water production sorted. Gosh, that's noisy. Okay, so we're onto this bridge now, and what we need to do is work our way over to the omnipod, which is just sort of there, and we're going to use this bridge to do that. There's 2 control rooms in this, I call it a bridge, it's not a bridge, it's a crane, and we're just going to grab the first one, simply raise it a bit, pull the crane back quite far, and rotate it round to the right. Now this bit is optional, but I'm going to now push the crane forward and break some of these ice. And swing round to the right and just knock them out of the way. Okay, then we're going to line up with those stairs ahead of us, push the crane all the way forward, and lower it down. Okay, that's it for now. We can head off the crane this way and access this scaffolding and walkway. Okay, so we got to our Omni wheel. But before we take that, we're just going to take this lift down by calling it. And there's a door at the bottom that we need to open, which will save us a lot of time later on.
We are keepers.
So let's open that. And that just gets us out into this central area, which we had access to before, but will give us better access here, and it'll mean we can come and get the crane a little easier after. I'm going to send the lift back down, because that's where we're going to need it later on. For now, we're going to take the wheel.
You've done all that I could do. I am But you are different. This time is different. You finish this. Awaken the embrace. The arch will guide you.
So the arch will guide us, but actually there's not much guide needed. It's one very linear track. We can only do one route. There are a few little side things you can go and explore.
This place, it represents my comfort and my confusion. This was a grand anchor at our worlds, a perfect term for it. How could I have been so naive?
So at the top of these arches we have a little control room and our adjunct upgrade device, which is that. We'll come back to that in a second. Let's get into the control room.
You as the first to enter a doorway that we never knew existed. Oh, so many doorways that we never knew existed.
And we wait for this little control panel to open and raise the spire.
What do you see? What? Tell me. Speak to me. Ah, but you cannot. It is for you alone. And you must repeat this 2 more times in the other realms.
Okay, let's come across and get our upgrade.
Heretic. I did not know that word. I learned it by reading. You rely on me now, as I once relied on him. The others were afraid of Turner. I was obsessed. I have learned that it is difficult for the stories of those who fear to move forward. These additions to your agent, these are required to awaken the embrace and save the rounds.
Okay, so when we get to the additions, we need to just verify them. And that is all we can do in this realm for now. Let's move forward. There's a pod behind. And we can get ourselves now to the Swan.
The Bob always amazed me, magically bridging the gap between the distant realms. Welcome to the Swan, where we gathered, talked, sang, learned, ate, laughed, shared. My memories of this place, so vivid, so wonderful, so peaceful. till it was shattered. Lies are controlling, but comforting.
Okay, so there's a few rooms and things to explore. Nothing of significance for us yet. What we're going to do is travel to another realm, Juleston.
Welcome to the Juleston realm. Be careful. Many were sent to deep sleep before their time.
This realm is fairly quick for us this first time round. We have to visit all the realms twice, or at least have two different sort of tasks in each realm. This time round, all we need to do is get some power to get this Omni Wheel working, because currently the Omni Wheel is up there, and to access that we need to use a lift which has no power at the moment. So the power is switched on down here by manipulating the batteries or the arms to get
The mystery of this realm? I never understood it. Now I see.
115 volts. Okay, so we have to make a circuit which basically comes along this arm here and this arm here, and electricity takes the shortest path between 2 points. So if this is point A and that's point B, the shortest point is across here, which means we pass these two connectors, and those two connectors at the moment give us a total of 25 volts, which isn't enough. So we're going to have to add some more in. Quickest way to do that is to move this one here out of the way and move the one we're standing on round to the right, so we're coming straight in, and we're going to make a path that goes straight up, but we need to make the path with the ones there. So if you can tell, this one here at the moment goes off to the right. We need it to come straight up, so we're just going to move this one to the right, and then we can take this one and move it to the left.
We are united.
So we're coming a straight path all the way up and then across. We're then going to need to add this one in, but again our path is wrong, so we're just going to move that out of the way and rotate this round. And then take this one, not that one. Sometimes the adjunct doesn't go quite where you want it. the left, and this one to the right. And hopefully that'll give us the correct voltage. It does, 115. Now I'll go to a vantage point so you can see the layout of that a little bit better. But for now we can turn on the voltage and we have power. Now that puzzle takes a while to work out if you're just moving those around, but each of them has a colour on them, and the colours are worth a different value, and a little bit of maths you'll get there. But from this vantage point you can see, basically, if this was a 7-segment display, we're looking for the number 577. 577. It doesn't really matter what the third one is because it's not really part of the chain at this stage. Okay, but we have our power. We should be able to access this lift. Which we can. Which means we can take the wheel to the arch and get our second upgrade. So this arch is exactly the same as the first one, same layout, same process.
This is necessary, but that does not mean it does not eat at my heart. That you should witness such mysteries instead of me.
Concatenated socketing means we can connect from one to another to another. And that's it for now. Back to the Swan.
we before we were awakened? We were not allowed to ask.
So, St. Andrew we go. This is a very green realm, and what we're going to have to do here is move these carts around, rails I suppose, in order to access a lift. So let's go have a look at this. Now if you're trying for the achievement of reading everything there is to read, there is a document here that you can have a look at that explains sort of what we're trying to do, and we can see there that we need to replace a damaged track. Okay.
This almost seems so puzzly, but such is life and learning. Problems and solutions. I think I have solved this final problem well.
So you can only move the engine if you're connected, coupled up to at least one of the train units. So we're going to move ourselves forward.
It was here, in the seed vaults, I first met Turner. He came to observe. I'd heard these stories by then. Oh, I wish you could remember. And yet, I'm glad you did not.
So we've come forward all the way that we can, and now our trailer is not underneath the one above, so we can raise up. But you don't want to couple on here, you want to go forward again and raise up again and couple that car on. We can now go down and couple on. That is where we want to go. That right in front of us is the lift, but the track's broken at the moment, so we can't get there. So go down.
We have all that is required.
Couple on there and take them all up. Okay, now before we go to the top, we need to come to the furthest door, which is open. Head in.
I knew about the arrival, that the cycle would change. Channel broke the cycle, and more.
To head to the bottom and open up 2 of the seed tunnels, the vaults, before we continue any further. This one here gives us access to this trailer, which we'll need later on. So come all the way round to the other end and open up this door as well. Having done that, we can go back upstairs and return to our train. And we're going to be coming into here shortly to carry on. Okay, now we're back on the train. We can go up one more and go as backwards as far as we can. Just there. Okay. Now we want to move this, which has it's a crane with the repair bit we need to repair. But we can't access the control port for this until we go up this ladder. From here we can come backwards a little bit further, and we need to send this forward as far as we can. It'll automatically disconnect when you can't go any further. Okay, I don't think there's anything to read up here. But what we do need to do is disconnect. Oh, wrong one. Disconnect that end one. Send that forward. Won't be far enough. Okay, so we'll take this forward and finish that off. Okay, when it's as far forward as you can then lower, and that will fix the track, which we're going to need to access in a minute. We can head down. And we head down to this cart that we haven't had access to yet. But because we've opened these two doors, we can run around and grab hold of it. Couple it up, and now it's coupled, we can operate the train from here. We can raise it and move ourselves forward to access the lift. And that's it.
St. Andrew, owned before and now. My purpose was here. My soul is here.
I always choose this right one, this right door, because our pod's right in front of us. We don't need it, but I'm just going to add it so we can use it later on. Okay. So the next puzzle.
This is where I choose to spend my time. After Turner broke our rules, I was broken. The beauty here kept me alive.
So what we need to do is get to that lift there in front of us, but the only way to do that is to cross to that platform on the far side. There's loads of different ways of doing this, but the best way I've found is to lower this one in front of us and to raise the one next to you on your right as high as possible, because what we want to do is get onto the lowest possible one of those. So with that raised, we'll lower ourselves and we can step onto this platform, and we need to go all the way to the bottom so we can use that adjunct terminal right below us. So let's just head on down as far as we can. If you get disconnected at any point like that, just reconnect and continue our trip down. Okay, now we're at the bottom. We need to turn clockwise or counterclockwise, it doesn't matter, we're going twice. So that's turn 1. That's turn 2. Okay, so it's where this gap is closest to the lift shaft. And then we're going to get ourselves to the top of this. So to do that, we're going to raise ourselves as high as we can. To this point where we can step across here, and then we're going to raise this one as high as we can. And lower the one on our right down so we can get onto the topmost basket for that, and then ride that to the top. With it at the top, we can step across onto this one. And now what we want to do is get onto this one that's just below us, so we need to go down one. And here we're on the right one now to be able to walk off there when this one is just a little lower. Like so. There we are, we can now access the lift and get ourselves our final upgrade.
The deep sleep. We wake, we live, we sleep. The cycle.
Our task is our purpose.
Okay, so we're going to the arch, and we can actually take this omnipod all the way to the arch, but to make our life a little quicker on the next phase, we're just going to jump off very quickly at the reservoir, which is here. Just wait for the pod to spin round. We're just going to nip down here, get the lift, I'm basically going to go and activate the pod up here and then get back into the Omni wheel. Simple as that. That means once we've got our final upgrade, we can travel back here with relative ease. Onto the arch. Here it's the same again. All the way to the top, open the shutters of the control room, raise the spire and get our adjunct upgrade. Amplified force. And that's it. That's our first upgrades complete. Now we just need to head back to the reservoir. So now we're going to visit all three of the reservoirs again and complete the second half of our progress. So here we are. We'll stick in this St. Andrews and we'll come to each of these valves. There's 4 of them. And just open them all. Because what we're trying to do is drain the water out of this reservoir so we can get down these steps. That's ultimately the goal in all of the realms. Okay, so that's open the valves, but you can see these pipes that are running away, And so we've got to go to the end of those pipes and open the other end of the valves. Let's call our lift. So the first couple of these are fairly easy. Let's go over to here, and we're going to be using this device to move ourselves around the landscape. Until now it's not been powered, and we need all three of our augmentations to get it powered, like so. Now it's powered, we can use this to summon it. Okay, we need to get in here, so let's open it. Gets us in. And in here are two panels we can use. This one, which will raise and lower, and there's a hole back here, and this one that drives us. So let's head forward, and we'll do it clockwise, I suppose. So we're heading to this scaffolding that's right ahead of us, and as we get there it will auto park itself, like so. It says docking. Fabulous. It's a noisy old beast. Okay. So up these stairs, and we can just see there a vault. Which we need to gain access to. Let's get it lowering. And while it's lowering, there's a document over here we can read for that achievement. And now we've lowered ourselves, we've got access over to this left hand side. Not much here, but we can open this door, follow this walkway to our first valve, which we open. And I guess the water is going to fill this. Okay, that's it. We'll head back to our mechanical transport. And move on to our second spot. Okay, onwards. Now the second spot, you can see it's right in the middle of the screen there. All we need to do is back up, so we're essentially over it. And on our screen at the bottom, a little icon will appear where it is. All we need to do is reverse to it, so we're just kissing it. And whilst there, we should be able to access it from here. Now you see, now I've moved too far forward, or too far back, so I just need to move forward just a little. There we go. And open that one. That's number 2 done. Number 3 is just over here to our left, this one is protected by a cage. So before we can get ourselves into position, we need to get relatively close to it. So we can access that and lower the cage. If we can reach it from here, we can just. Once that's lowered, it's then the same sort of process that we've just done. We just need to line it up so we can access the inner port. So again, we just want to be in a position where we're just kissing the back of it, and if you get it right, you might be able to get in. If not, we can lower a little bit here, see if that helps. There we are. And that one's open. Finally, we need to continue around to the left here. We're going to be heading around to the right here. You can see this building just there. And again, this has an auto dock on it, so as soon as we get close enough, there we go, it will automatically dock for us. Okay, this one now is a little tricky sometimes to get. We need to basically open this bridge that's below us and be on our machine. So to do that, we're going to come down to a control panel just here, lower the bridge, which automatically raises the other one. Now we've got no way of getting into our machine, but what we can do is run all the way down, and we should be able to access our raise lower port, and we should be able to lower it to a position where we can get onto it. Need to eyeball this a little bit. Might do. Let's give it a go. If not, we'll just have to run down and lower it a bit more. Nope, that looks alright. We're good. Okay. Now that we're in here, we need to just mess around with raising and lowering it, and you'll see in this hole there's the port that we want to access, and it's just a case of getting ourselves in a position where we can access that port. Let's move ourselves back as far as we can. Can't really go far. It's a little fiddly. Now we're in a position where... oh dear, the scaffolding's clipped through. We can't even access our ports. Ah, well, it's got itself completely stuck. Okay. Now it's got a mind of its own. This is what we call a bug. Let's see if we can get it to dock again. Okay. Well, this sort of thing happens. Let's see if we can get ourselves into a recovered position. One moment. Okay, here we go. We're approaching now for attempt 2 of this. So let's try. Let's try again. Now hopefully we'll be able to lower this in a position. There it is. Got it. Where we can access our port and open it. And that's basically what you need to do. Okay. Let's get out of here. If you get stuck in a position like that, thankfully this game has an option in the settings to teleport to the safe place, and a safe place is for both you and this machine, so it takes us back to the reservoir and you can just jump in it and walk over again. I guess the developers knew that these little bugs existed and wanted to make a way to easily sort it if it cropped up. Okay, so we're heading back to our scaffold here. Hopefully the auto dock will pick up. There it is. And once it's docked, that's our job done. So we can head to the reservoir now. And with a bit of luck, we'll find the water has lowered. Which it has. So we can make it across. And up to the top. And again, up here, there's only one thing to do.
Success! If you can hear my voice, then you have started to awaken the embrace. Now 2 more before the portal is opened. The assembly is at hand.
Okay. So we can now head back to the Swan and move on to the second. I'm just looking for where the pod is, and we want to take the exit that's just to the left of the pod. I mean, it doesn't really matter, you can walk around, but this will get us there quicker. So that's us finished in this realm. Oh no, Swan is where we want to go.
Tanner taught me a new story. The lies I had been taught resisted this new story.
So it doesn't matter where we go next. I'm going to go to Juleston next, and we'll finish back on the ice. Okay, so we need to run around back to essentially where we were before. The spire has risen again, and as you can see, these are the steps here that we need to head down, but we need to empty the reservoir first. So let's go do that. So this is where our battery was, we did the 115 volt thing before. And previously we just took this elevator up and took the Omni Orb, the Omni Wheel to the arch. This time we're going to go up and head over to the reservoir. That's where we went last time. This is where we go this time. Okay. So here we've got a gate that needs power. And we couldn't have done this until we had all our attachments, which we have. Now, before we go in there, we're going to...
We are keepers.
We're going to run back. I'm going to do it now. Because there is a letter that we can read. And if you miss it, you won't be able to get the read all documents achievement. If you're not after that achievement, then just skip forward until we're back at that gate. Okay, so we get to this vault, which we can open. And head down. And there's this document here. That's it. Now we're just going to run all the way back. There's nothing else to do there. Unfortunately, we can't cross here, and we can't get around there. So it is the long way around. I suppose we could do it afterwards once the spire has been fully opened. But it's easy enough to forget. Okay, so here we are, back again, and we're going to head in.
I lost friends here. What has become of them? What has become of their memories? I have learned that the threshold deals harshly with memories.
So we've got a door here, which we can't open. And we've got an entrance to the factory here, but we can't squeeze past this. But if we follow the tracks, we're going to find 2 more carts, which when we connect up to them, say they're full. So let's just move this towards... It's a bit of a nuisance. Move this towards the factory. So there's 2 full ones, both at the ends of each of those 2 lines. So what I'm going to do is just going to move the full one onto this left-hand line, left-hand track, which means in a minute I'll be able to push the empty one onto the other track and it won't get in its way. Alright, let's find our way into this, which is simply a case of following this path around. And we come to this puzzle where we basically need to mix sulfur, which is what's in those carts, and water to make acid, and then pump it out of that gate, the top one, which is blocked up. We also need to release this paddle, but that is also blocked up. We can't do that yet. Okay. What we can do in preparation is lower this, and I'll explain why we did that after. So just, you might have seen there, our pod, I'm just going to connect to it just so it's added. Here's the door that we couldn't open from the outside, but we can open it from in here. And here is the cart that's blocking, and we're just going to get it out of the way because we've set the points. It's going to disappear down there. Fantastic. Which means we can now bring the full cart in and start the process. So it automatically empties and we can head up to the top of the factory and kickstart the process. A little bit of instructions here of what's going on. That will start our mixer filling. So we've got water coming in and we've got sulfur coming in. Now there's not a lot we can do until that's full, but essentially what we're going to try and do is open this door using this, but at the moment it says it's crusted up so we can't. We're going to make some acid and fill this up and then discharge it all, and we're going to do that a couple of times. Right, now that's finished filling, we can come down here and access this room, which will put us into a wetsuit. And the wetsuit has a tool on it that will allow us to get rid of this crustacean. So, let's move forward. Use our cavitation hammer, and in we go. Now, the reason we had to lower this is A, so we can walk on it. If you didn't, there's just no path. It's all blocked up, so you can't do anything. Now, we can't reach that yet, so we need to swing some of this around. But to swing it around, we need to unlock it. And to unlock it, we need to remove that. Okay. We're out of here, but we'll be back. Okay. Should be able to raise that now. unlock it, and then we should be able to rotate it, and essentially we just want to line it up with that bar below it, those horizontal bars, and when it is lined up we'll then be able to couple those together and swing the whole lot round so it's lined up with where those doors are. Uncouple it, and then we can swing this back. Either way, it doesn't really matter, because we still need this pathway when we get into our suit in a second. Like so. And then lower it again so we can access it from below. Let's go get our suit on again. And we should be clear now to walk across here. Hit this with our cavitation hammer, which has cleaned that up, and that's it. Now we've done that, we should be able to open this without any difficulties and empty the tank. So while the tank is emptying, let's go and get our second batch of sulfur. So we need to first of all remove the empty one. So change our tracks over and push that out. Okay, and then we can change the tracks back and head up here and get the second set of sulfur. Okay, so it's the same again. Just start the process, and then we'll need to wait for the tank to fill. And empty it. Wrong place.
We care for our comrades.
and then once it's emptied, we're going to empty it again. Okay, and then to the end now, and open this. Okay, let's head out. Now, having done that, we're going to discover a problem. And that problem is the power is now out again, which means this door has been closed. Thankfully, we've got the pod. So let's take the pod. Back to the reservoir. And head back to the battery, where we're going to have to do some tinkering because the values have all changed.
We have all that is required.
So as you can see, the fuse is blown again, but it's still set up in the same way that we left it. But now we're on 155 volts, so what we need to do is just reduce it. So I'll do this in the same way that I did before, and then we will do an overview. So we're going to move this first one here to the right. Follow it around, and then instead of going off this way, we're going to go that way. So we're going to take that one and move that to the left, and then take this one and also move it to the left. And then we're going to take this one. Well, that's it, sorry, we're done. Power it up. So I'll just run up to that overview and give you an overview of how it's laid out now. If I can find the path, there we go. So from our right hand we go in, up the far right, across one, down one, across one, and then out. Okay. With that done, we can go back to the reservoir. Which we need to call the lift for. And we can now refill the holding tank of water, which should empty the reservoir. So while that's emptying it, let's run round so we can access the stairs that were previously underwater.
I could see what you have become. I wish I could see what that realms have become. We kept them while not understanding.
We measure.
Now would be a good time to go and do the second vault, but to do that you'd have to go the other way first of all, reconnect the power at the gate so that this is powered, and then cross it again, but at this point you can cross the spire. But we've done that, we've taken care of that, we can carry on. And back to the swan. And
The missions they told us. And I believe them. And we did it well, preparing for the arrival.
Okay, back to ice. Probably the best place to head for is the ice factory. So, we've got our ice production. What we need to do now is get up there, behind here, so we need to move this ice block. So we can get back up onto our crane via this doorway we opened right at the beginning. And this time we're going to go into the other cab. That was the one we used last time. But before we do, we're going to run to the end here and see if we can open that bridge below us, which we can. If you can't, you just need to adjust the crane till you can. Okay. Now this cab is the cab end that has the hook and the grabber on it, so that's what we're going to do.
Our task is our purpose.
So just going to raise it a bit because it's stuck on the other end. Send our arm forward. Line it up. And lower it. Once we've got it, we're going to raise it up as far as we can. And then move it to the left, sort of as far as we can. Without it knocking onto the rocks, because it's possible, and that's as far as we're going to get it, it's possible that it will drop the ice and it will block our path if we're not careful. If it does that, you just got to come and grab it again and keep moving it. Okay. Back at this end now, so we can see what we're doing here. We want to move it to the right, left. but we want to make sure we don't extend it too far. Should be alright now, so we can extend it backwards. And hopefully the ice is still attached to the end. Can't really see. We will know soon enough. But we're going to put it back where it was when we first found it. As long as we can pass those rocks, which we have, then we should be good. Okay, so we're going to line it up with this doorway. Send it forward pretty much as far as it'll go. And lower it. And if it's all gone to plan, that ice won't be blocking our path. It looks clear. Okay. We'll soon find out.
I was taught that temperature is what divides ice from liquid, liquid from steam, steam from ice. The environment can change it. Jana made me realize that this applies to living things as well as water. I have been changed.
Okay. So as you can see, the ice stuck to the crane, so we haven't got a blocked path, and we're all good to go. Right ahead of us there's a door that we can open, which wasn't openable from the outside, but we don't need there. We're going to head into here, call the lift. Okay, so we've got our ice coming in, and in here is a steam generator, and we need to make some steam.
We eat.
To do that, we're also going to need some coal, and that comes from over this side. Again, there's not much of a puzzle here to get the coal. You just need to come over here and switch it on. Don't need that, it's already here. You should see our buckets start filling with coal. Like so. Excellent.
I imagine your journey, your questions. It makes me laugh and weep. Will you ever have the answers?
Let's go up here where we need to connect our power points to this. Connect all three. And that's our power going, and then we can start the furnace. And that's our steam being generated, which we need for the next part. So we've got some more underwater stuff to do, but this time we've got ice to deal with, not crusted up sulfur. So what we've got to do is get through here underwater and melt a load of ice. But in some cases we need to use our cavitation hammer to clear the ice, like this.
The keepers are simple people. Maintain the firmament. We learned our world well. We knew our facts well. These thresholds came in handy for maintaining peace, suppressing hate and violence. No lies or luxuries, gods or greed. We had everything we needed. Except the truth. But what is that?
Okay, so we can use our device here to open up some valves, and by opening up valves it gives us access to, or gives pressure to these heaters which melt the ice. And that's essentially what we've got to do in this puzzle, is work our way around here and melt the ice in a path so that we can get to our final destination. Now some of the heaters have ice build-up, so we need to use our cavitation hammer on them so that we can access them, and that'll open up new pathways for us. Okay, and essentially what we want to do is get access to this lift, which is currently iced up, so there's no way around there yet. Yeah, we need to get down there, but to do that we need to go and melt that ice first, which we can do from up here now. And it's essentially this, going backwards and forwards until you clear the right paths. As far as I can tell, there's only one sequence to this. There may be others, but generally it's a single sequence that you need to follow. And each ice melting gives you access to that next little bit. Okay, now this next part means we need to get around here, but we can't because with that valve open, those pins stick out. So we need to close those, but that will disable everything that we've turned on that's connected to that valve. We might need to go back and turn it on. Now there's a valve here that we need to open in a minute. Haven't got there yet. To get to that valve we need to open this one, which as you can see is iced up. Use our cavitation hammer on it, but even with that we can't reach it. But we can reach a valve there, which we can't open, but we can use it to bounce off and open that valve. With that valve open, we should be able to go back down to that one I was just at. Yeah, and you can see the green light is where we've got access gases, steam, and as we open it, the other side becomes green. Now there's a very sneaky one here, which takes a little bit of playing around with to get. There it is. Okay.
We care for our comrades.
Coming down here gives us access to this one, which is right at the bottom. And we have turned that on already, but by closing that other one off to get past the spikes, we couldn't get it turned that one off, but we need that one back on. And that is the one, I believe, that gives us our lift. Okay, we can now take the lift up. Stopping en route to... oh, that's not openable yet. We need to come back. This one. Okay. None of these have got pressure yet. You can't open a valve that has no pressure. As you can see, it's unpressurized. That's the one that we just tried to open and failed. But now we can either go back down in the lift, or you could wander around and do it. Let's go back in the lift. I'm just going to run around to the lift. You can run around the platforms and get down there again. Need to come back down here. And clear the ice off there. And then we can go down and access that from here. And that should be us pretty much done. Missed. Okay, Now if I open these, it's going to block my way, so we need to come right round and open it from this side. That allows us to open this one. But now we need to open this one, which is on the other side, so we can use that heater at the back to bounce off and open that one, which should give us pressure here. And that should give us pressure over here. And that should give us access to get out here. And we can take our suit off. And that's it. On up to this tower.
We care for our world.
And the embrace has now been awakened. Can it be true? Could this really have gone as I thought? You have kept the mission. Now the gateway in the Swan will open, and you can prepare for the assembly. Go. We were taught to joyfully anticipate the arrival. Tanner and 2 others arrived, and we were joyful beyond measure. They were powerful. We obeyed. They knew so much, but they were not patient with us, not kind as we were. We were not used to force. We were peaceful. Yes, we were peaceful, but we were not weak. It troubled us to serve someone as though they were greater than us. We were taught that all were equal. And then, suddenly, Martha killed one of them. Oh, that moment is burned in my mind. Quiet Martha. She could not talk about why. That day, nothing was ever the same. Turner and the other arrivals also changed. They took Martha and panic engulfed the realms. There was blood. There was death. It was... I have no words for it. Only 12 keepers remained. Of the arrivals, only Tanner remained.
Just having a little wander around while we had that speech. But essentially we want to get back to one of the pods, doesn't really matter which one, and get back to the Swan. Let's go in the other way. So, before you go any further, if you do want to collect all the reading material, there are some books in some of these side rooms.
The only difference between a heresy and the truth is time. I wonder, do you agree?
Don't think there are any books lying around here. But if you want to check, this is now your last chance to see this room. And then we're out of here.
Tanner was afraid, I suppose. He became our master and ruled us with a heavy hand. We learned about masters and their weapons. We were subdued and lost. And Turner, rather than intent on the assembly and completing the mission, became intoxicated with his power. Angry God. He would command and we would comply or die. His every Only one of the arrivals could prepare for the assembly. Our mission was in peril, resting in Turner's distracted hands. I lost hope. And then a plan came to me. An ingenious plan. I refined it for many weeks. I became close to Turner to use it. I made a wall in my mind for my own sanity, befriending the monster for the greater good. I learned much. I wept much. So, after many weeks, I told my comrade Jacques the truth that I had learned. I knew he would be afraid. He provoked the others, and they all lashed out at me. I convinced Tanner to use his weapons to force them into the deep sleep. I told Tanner we could wake new ones from the threshold, and I would mentor them to be more compliant as his servants. I gained Tanner's praise with this idea. He earned his trust. Right up until I sedated him and placed him in the threshold as well. And so I was alone, keeping and preparing. Not for days, or weeks, or even months, but for years. Everyone was gone. The embrace could only be awakened, the assembly could only occur, only with the power of an arriver. But now Tanner was in the deep sleep. And you will learn the truth now. The truth of sleep, the truth of the mission, the truth of keeping, and the truth of Tanner, our assembly, and ending. The threshold keeps the keepers. The cycle of keepers. Blank new keepers to be mentored. The 7-year cycle. But I will not go to sleep. I will keep my memories. I will not forget.
Bit more of a story. So there was a door up there which we can't get through because it's locked from the outside. Let's go and open it.
And now you have experienced the revelation that I had. The grand realms I thought were everything are nothing but firmament, structures. But yet, they held everything dear to me, except my own memories. I have kept those. Can you imagine the first time I saw such a sight? I cannot describe what happened to my body. I did not think Tana would lie, but there's no preparation to face what has never imagined. I was distraught and opened and offended and freed. I did not have words to describe to you. And now, I've returned here many times. And still, I do not know where the firmament ends. Can we ever?
Well, folks, that brings us to the end of this game. I'll continue with the dialogue here, but there's no more puzzles to solve. I hope you've enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Until then, happy gaming.
Scanning. Biosignature confirmed. Turner, Louis Donald. Earth equivalent date 2231-3-17. The United Earth Space Agency sends its sincere gratitude and greetings, Ensign Turner. Mission protocol requiring your presence and approval is now satisfied. Thank you for your preparations to Firmament Starship Atlas. No further human intervention is required. All additional assembly, preparations, and flight control will be handled autonomously by me. Final full engine upgrades to Starship Atlas now commencing. Stand by for space folding and transport to the Tau Ceti system.
I was never given a choice. The firmament protected, restrained, and used us. You understand that now? And I have not given you a choice. I placed you in the threshold 7 years ago. You slept and forgot. I sat alone and remembered. You woke up, I lied to you, and used you. You see how it feels? You arrived and pulled back the curtain of this monumental illusion for me. Now, I thought I knew so much, but you astonished me with how small my world was. And as you held my awe, my veneration in your hand, you closed your fist around us. We were like children, and you tore our small world apart. I have thought of this moment often as I waited. I wish I was alive now to see your face. There is a part of me that hopes you are enraged. Oh, it's not reasonable, I know. These violent thoughts never get us very far. You were our god. And then, you were our monster. Do you feel some kind of remorse now? Can there even be atonement without choice? It doesn't matter. At the very least, I used you to provide the way home for the keepers. My comrades, my family. But now, maybe you can do more than just the very least. One choice remains for you, and I will not beg a man such as you, but I will ask. Do something good with this second life you have been given. Remember the keepers, those you looked down on and mocked, those you erased. I forced you to travel their path, to learn their names, understand what they accomplished, miracles. And you, now you have become the most important keeper of all, the keeper of all these memories. You sit on the verge of the awaited destination. A new world, a new home. When you arrive, you can choose to tell the stories that only you now know. You can tell the tales of the keepers of this grand spaceship. And we worked so hard to save all of this, including even you. Adieu.
Starship Atlas has now been upgraded and is fold engine enabled. Prepare for acceleration and full jump to the Town City system. Any questions you may have will be answered upon arrival, which will occur in approximately 7.4 hours. New life awaits you and your fellow Atlas comrades on planet Firma. Thank you for your service to the Firmament Initiative, Ensign Turner.